Go.
Today we're going to be reading Baby Rattlesnake, told by Tiata, adapted by Lynn Morney, and illustrated by Mira Reisenberg. So today we're going to be focusing on 4 comprehension questions. I'm going to read them to you, so as I'm reading the book, you can recall the questions so you can think about them in your head. So the first question is, why did the baby rattlesnake cry all the time? Who did the baby rattlesnake scare when he finally got his rattle? What happened to the baby rattlesnake's rattle when he scared the chief's daughter? And how many family members did the baby rattlesnake have? So we're going to answer them at the very end. So Baby Rattlesnake, told by Tiata, adapted by Lynn Morney, and illustrated by Mira Reisenberg. Out in the place where rattlesnakes lived, there was a little baby rattlesnake who cried all the time because he did not have a rattle. He said to his mother and father, "I don't know why I don't have a rattle. I'm made just like my brother and sister. How can I be a rattlesnake if I don't have a rattle?" Mother and father rattlesnake said, "You are too young to have a rattle. When you get to be as old as your brother and sister, you will have a rattle too." But baby rattlesnake did not want to wait, so he just cried and cried. He shook his tail, and when he couldn't hear a rattle sound, he cried even louder. Mother and father said, "Shh, shh, shh." Brother and sister said, "Shh, shh, shh." But baby rattlesnake wouldn't stop crying. He kept the rattlesnake people awake all night. The next morning, the rattlesnake people called a big council. They talked and they talked, just like people do, but they couldn't decide how to make that little baby rattlesnake happy. He didn't want anything else but a rattle. At last, one of the elders said, "Go ahead, give him a rattle. He's too young and he'll get into trouble. Let him learn a lesson. I just want to get some sleep." So they gave baby rattlesnake a rattle. Baby rattlesnake loved his rattle. He shook his tail, and for the first time he heard ch 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 ch. He was so excited. He sang a rattle song. Ch 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 ch. He danced a rattle dance. Ch 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 ch. Soon baby rattlesnake learned to play tricks with his rattle. He hid in the rocks, and when the small animals came by, he darted out rattling. Ch 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 ch. He made Jack Rabbit jump. He made Old Man Turtle jump. He made Prairie Dog jump. Each time baby rattlesnake laughed and laughed. He thought it was fun to scare the animal people. Mother and father warned baby rattlesnake, "You must not use your rattle in such a way." Big brother and big sister said, "You are not being careful with your rattle." The rattlesnake people told baby rattlesnake to stop acting so foolish with his rattle. Baby rattlesnake did not listen. One day, baby rattlesnake said to his mother and father, "How will I know a chief's daughter when I see her?" "Well, she's usually very beautiful and walks with her head held high," said father. "And she's very neat in her dress," added mother. "Why do you want to know?" asked father. "Because I want to scare her," said baby rattlesnake, and he started right off down the path before his mother and father could warn him never to do a thing like that. The little fellow reached the place where the Indians traveled. He curled himself up on a log and he started rattling. Shh, shh, shh. He was having a wonderful time. All of a sudden he saw a beautiful maiden coming toward him from a long way off. She walked with her head held high, and she was very neat in her dress. "Ah," thought baby rattlesnake, "she must be the chief's daughter." Baby rattlesnake hid in the rocks. He was excited. This was going to be his best trick. He waited and waited. The chief's daughter came closer and closer. When she was in just the right spot, he darted out of the rocks. Shh, 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 shh. "Ho!" cried the chief's daughter. She whirled around, stepping on baby rattlesnake's rattle, crushing it to pieces. Baby rattlesnake looked at his beautiful rattle, scattered all over the trail. He didn't know what to do. He took off for home as fast as he could. With great sobs, he told Mother and Father what had happened. They wiped his tears and gave him big rattlesnake hugs. For the rest of that day, baby Rattlesnake stayed safe and snug close by his rattlesnake family. And that's it. So now we're going to answer the comprehension questions. Now, why did the baby rattlesnake cry all the time? If we recall, he cried all the time because he so badly wanted a rattle. So we're going to write that. Baby rattlesnake wanted a rattle. Okay. Number 2. Who did the baby rattlesnake scare when he finally got his rattle? Well, if we can look back, because sometimes that helps us with comprehension questions. Okay, so it says right here, he made Jackrabbit jump, he made Old Man Turtle jump, and he made Prairie Dog jump. So we're going to write that. He scared Jackrabbit, Old Man Turtle, Prairie Dog, and also he scared the chief's daughter, as we recall that. Okay, let's go on to number 3. What happened to the baby rattlesnake's rattle when he scared the chief's daughter? Remember, he jumped out and did his ch-ch-ch-ch, and the chief's daughter got so scared that she crushed baby rattlesnake's rattle into pieces. Okay. Now last, how many family members did the baby rattlesnake have? Now if we recall, he did have a council that wanted to give him the rattle. But if we're talking about his direct family, there was mother and father, and also his brother and sister. Brother and sister. So we just completed that. But if you ever have trouble reading a story and you cannot remember the questions, it's always good to go back and look. So I hope you enjoyed it.